Once upon a time, in a small kitchen in Japan, a man talked to rice. Yes, rice. Not his plants, not his cats, actual bowls of rice. Every morning he'll open 2 jars. To one he whispered, "I love you." To the other he hissed, "You fool." A few weeks later, one jar bloomed with mold. The other stayed strangely fresh. And just like that, the internet went, "See, positive vibes work." But is rice really that sensitive, or are we just projecting our need to be loved, even by our lunch? The man behind this viral experiment was Masaru Emoto, a Japanese author who believed that thoughts and words could visibly change matter, especially water. He claimed that when you speak kind words, water molecules form beautiful crystals. When you say mean things, they deform into chaotic, distorted patterns. Emoto then photographed these ice crystals under a microscope, snowflake-like patterns after being blessed with love, jagged, ugly ones after being told, "You disgust me." He believed human consciousness could imprint itself into matter such as rice and water, the very substance that makes up 70% of our bodies. In his book, The Hidden Messages in Water, Emoto wrote, "Words have their individual and unique vibrational frequencies. Beautiful words create beautiful nature. Ugly words create ugly nature." And water is the mirror of the soul. It has many faces formed by aligning itself with consciousness of human beings. He described exposing jars of water to positive and negative words such as gratitude, love, and stupid, and claimed that the resulting crystals mirrored the intention behind the words. While the rice and water version became the most famous, the exact details of how he performed it, whether he literally whispered phrases like "I love you" or "you fool" daily, were never standardized or scientifically documented. But what is clear is that his message resonated deeply with people, that consciousness might shape the physical world, which sounds poetic, until you realize it's also how most Disney villains explain their magic. Soon, people everywhere were recreating the rice version. Jar A, "I love you." Jar B, "You disgust me." Jar C completely ignored, the introvert of the thrill. You can find thousands of YouTube videos where the hate jar turns black and the love jar stays white. It's strangely satisfying, like watching karma happen in a Tupperware. Before long, everyone was talking to their rice, their glass of water, even their sleeping spouses, all in the name of reprogramming energy and raising vibrations. Celebrities like Jim Carrey and Oprah have openly talked about affirmations and manifestation, though thankfully not all of them took it as far as complimenting carbohydrates. So do positive intentions really affect our surroundings? Or more importantly, can we change the state of an object with our thoughts? Now here's where it gets sticky, literally. Scientists tried to replicate Emoto's experiments under controlled conditions, and nothing magical happened. I know, I was disappointed too. I guess in some way I was a believer. I wanted it to be true that talking to my rice or my dog or my plant or my sleeping son was going to make them thrive. The truth was, the scientists found no statistically significant difference, just regular rice decomposing at regular speed. And water crystals? Their shapes were highly subjective, chosen by photographers, not consistently replicable across blinded studies. Why? Because mold doesn't care about your energy, it cares about humidity, temperature, and whether you accidentally spit into the jar while yelling, "I hate you." Researchers pointed out basic flaws. No blinding. You know which jar you're yelling at. No sterile conditions. Subjective results. Uglier mold or prettier crystals is not a measurable metric. And maybe, just maybe, we wanted to believe it too much. But before you throw this out as junk science, here's the twist. While most of Emoto's work doesn't hold up to rigorous science, his core idea that observation changes outcome isn't completely absurd. Because in quantum physics, something eerily similar actually happens. In the double-slit experiment, while electrons are fired through 2 slits, they behave like waves until someone observes them. The moment they are measured, that is, someone is observing them, they collapse into particles. It is almost like they know they are being observed. In other words, observation itself alters how these particles behave, which in turn means that observation alters physical reality. Now, that doesn't mean yelling "I love you" at your lunchbox won't make it taste better, but it does hint at a mysterious truth. Our consciousness interacts with reality in ways science still can't fully explain. And just because we can't measure it doesn't necessarily mean it's not there. Maybe Emoto took that mystery and ran with it too far, too fast. But perhaps his intuition wasn't entirely misplaced. This was one of those moments where science and spirituality collided. Spiritual thinkers claimed our thoughts could shape physical reality, that mind creates matter. Amongst them was Deepak Chopra, a trained endocrinologist turned best-selling author who became the face of the mind over matter movement. Chopra popularized ideas like the quantum body and the notion that consciousness can influence healing. He once famously described helping a young boy visualize his body defeating cancer. And guess what? The boy recovered. Was it biology, belief, or both? Even in my own clinic, I've seen the placebo effect work its quiet magic. Sometimes, belief is biochemistry. And speaking of belief-changing biology, here's a fascinating new study from Cornell University that brings this full circle. In 2025, researchers studied genetically identical mice and gave a few of them small lucky breaks early in life. Easier access to food, shorter mazes, faster rewards. Now those tiny wins snowballed. The lucky mice started taking more risks, exploring faster, solving problems more confidently. The unlucky ones, equally capable, began hesitating and withdrawing. In the end, the lucky mice started winning more and more later in life, and the unlucky ones, well, they became losers. Nothing about their DNA changed. What changed was their belief, the perception that they were winners. Over time, the belief rewired their brain chemistry, boosting dopamine and confidence-related circuits until it became biology. The researchers called it the winner effect, a feedback loop where early success, no matter how tiny, builds belief, and belief shapes future successes. Which makes you wonder, maybe it's not that our thoughts magically change rise or the world around us. Maybe they change us first, and that change is what changes everything else. But here's where it gets interesting. In humans, the power of positive words isn't woo, it's neuroscience. Studies show that self-affirmations can literally change how your brain responds to stress. In one fMRI study from UCLA, people who practiced daily affirmations showed less amygdala activation. That's the brain's fear and panic center, and more activity in the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, which helps with self-regulation. Translation: telling yourself I can handle this won't rearrange water molecules, but it can rearrange your stress response. Now that's biology, not magic. So no, your rise isn't secretly a therapist, but you are your own placebo factory. Think of affirmations as mental reps. Each "I'm capable" you say is like a mini bicep curl for your prefrontal cortex, and over time, it doesn't make you delusional, it makes you resilient. And that's why top athletes, performers, and even surgeons use positive self-talk. It's not about manifesting trophies, it's about managing cortisol. So yes, maybe the "I love you" jar doesn't ferment slower, but the person saying "I love you" every morning, their body might actually age slower. So here's the poetic twist. Masaru Emoto might have been wrong about rice, but right about humans. Words are powerful not because they bend reality, but because they bend perception, and perception drives biology. Deepak Chopra might describe it as energy following intention. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity. Different language, same phenomenon. Your brain learns from what it repeatedly hears, especially from you. And maybe, just maybe, the same mysterious principle that makes electrons change behavior under observation also lives quietly inside us. When we observe ourselves with kindness instead of criticism, something shifts. Attention becomes transformation. You speak kindly to yourself, cortisol drops, skin glows, immune system chills out, and suddenly you look a little more radiant. So maybe you can retire the rice jars and start talking kindly to one organism that actually listens, ourselves. So the next time you're tempted, yell at your carbs, maybe whisper something nice instead. It might not make the rice last longer, but it'll definitely make you do so.